So, something you guys might not know about me. I'm panromantic. That means I'm attracted to someone based on their personality instead of how they look, and I don't really care what gender they are. So I heard there was a game jam with Pride and Toho as the main themes. I had to check it out. I even ended up making my own game for it. For those of you who don't know, a game jam is a little contest where people make games in a short amount of time. In this case, people had 2 weeks to make their games. The games are based around themes, and you can choose either to work alone or work in teams. How unique every individual person is, this led to a wide variety of Pride-themed games, and I'm gonna show them all. A gift for Aku. Here's one thing that needs a bit of context. I make my games in a program called ClickTeam Fusion 2.5. There's no public Toho engine available for the program, but that didn't stop Kage from making one. It's got enemies, spell cards, bombs. It's quite impressive when you consider that this was all made in 2 weeks. Most of the game is zoomed, meaning one person made all the assets, except for the actual art itself. So, imagine Toho, except the worst thing about it was handled by a different person. Nice. The result is enjoyable, albeit short adventure about stealing said gift for Aku. Oh, and the writing's also pretty good. Kachina. This one was adorable. This is a single-player puzzler where Notori shifts ramps to get the spinning Hina into her arms. The puzzles also get pretty challenging too. It's definitely fun, but it can get a bit slow at times. Speed up key would have been nice. Still though, a fun time. It also sounds great, which is helped by the fact that the songs are all remixed from Mountain of Faith, which I personally think is the most consistent of the Toho soundtracks. The art style is also very cutesy, which fits this sort of game. If you like puzzle games, then check this one out. Housekey Chibi Jam. This one was a visual novel. It's a bit confusing. There's OCs, alternative universes, and some sort of architects of said universe. None of these are inherently bad. The problem is, not enough context is given to really grip you into the plot. It's like, this alternative version of Moku breaks the fourth wall a lot, and it sounds like they came from the real world, but again, there's not really enough to know what's going on and what's not, so you're left feeling a bit dazzled. If there's one thing this game really nails though, it's the LGBT representation. The author does a brilliant job describing Alter Moku's struggles with his gender and identity. It really does feel like it belongs at a Pride Jam. Oh, and the art is also nice. What matters most. I love this Ceiling Club. They're one of Toho's most explored groups of characters, and yet there's still so much we don't know about them. One thing's for certain though. Renko and Maribel have a special bond. The art of this entry... yeah, it's most likely done in paints. Though I'm not one to talk. But that doesn't really matter. Art has never been integral to Toho, and at its core, this isn't really a game. It's a story. A story about how Maribel realizes one day that Renko will be gone. Mary herself will have grown far more powerful, for sure. But the person she treasures the most will have vanished. Renko's response? It's surprising, but it demonstrates exactly why Renko is a great person. I don't want to spoil it, but just know this was a really good, albeit short story, that totally fits with the themes of love this jam was built for. Love-Colored Letters. Love-Colored Letters is stylized like old 8-bit arcade games. You play as Marisa trying to deliver her love letters to Alice. They're scattered around the level, and Marisa needs to get them before the enemies do, otherwise they can run off with them. Get the letters and get to the mailbox. You can get different types of weapons and use bombs to take the enemies out. If you get hit, you don't lose a life, instead, you're just stunned. You lose a life when the enemies steal all of Marisa's letters instead. Oh, and Patch is jealous, so she'll chase you around and glitch out the screen. She glitches the game so much that the EXE even changes its name. That gave me a pretty good laugh. Fourth wall breaking aside, this is a pretty fun game. It's arcadey bliss, with good remixes of Toho songs to boot. Figuring out the best route to the mailbox is a neat challenge, and Patch can be absolutely terrifying. My only real complaint would be how hard it is to recover after losing a life. When you lose a life, you lose all your power, so your shot is weaker. But since you have less power, you can't kill enemies taking the letters, so you'll lose another life. Kinda sounds like Touhou 11. I lost all my lives on one stage because of that. But it's important to remember, these games are all made in 2 weeks, and the hindrance of recovery doesn't really change the fact that the game is still a ton of fun. Oh, and one more thing. After every level, you're rewarded with one of these 3 cutscenes of Mariali goodness. Okay, so the game's perfect, 10 out of 10. Marisa's Love Letters. Marisa's Love Letters is stylized like old 8-bit Mega Man games. You play as Marisa trying to... Huh? Yeah, similar concept to the last one. The Mega Man element of this is cool. I do love me some Mega Man, that's why I'm the Mega Pig. The enemies are programmed well, and the graphics are nice enough. Good lord, these level designs. Nitori's stage is a ton of waiting enemies followed by the Gutsman's platforms. Why? I was a bit sad I couldn't get more into this. The music isn't as banging as you'd expect. It's serviceable, but not rock man level. There is one thing I want to mention though. In this game you can get a power icon, but instead of just refilling weapon energy or your health, it improves your basic attack instead. For a Mega Man game, that's a really cool concept. There's definitely potential here, and I hope the creator expands on the idea in the future. Azure in the Making. This one was made in Game Maker, and I think it's its own engine. For 2 weeks, it was pretty impressive with what was able to get done, but unfortunately, I don't have much praise besides that. The music is a simple loop of theme of Eastern story that gets a bit grating, but I think where this entry really kind of fails is the pride aspect. There isn't really any LGBT content to be found at all. Lacasa Gashime Speed Swimming. I think I said that right. A mermaid's journey to find something for her love. The gameplay in this one is hella interesting. It's based around using swimming and building momentum to get around jet streams and gaps. The creator actually told me it was inspired by classic Sonic, which makes sense. Here's the problem. I kinda suck at it. Game design tries to tell us to show, not tell, but I think I could have used a bit more telling here. I knew what move to use, but not how to use it. Still, it's a very intriguing concept for a video game, and when it does work, it flows nicely. It can very well work as its own thing. Dreams of a Sunflower. The Dark Souls of Toho games. At least that's what the website says. Oh my god, this game is great. Takes Denmaku, puts it in a Dark Souls-like setting. Creates gameplay that both feels familiar, yet new at the same time. LGBT gets represented well as Yuka answers the dreams of Maribel and Renko. The graphics look nice, with the 3D Yuka model contrasting against the 2D cutouts. Music! Oh my god, this music is balling. Sounds like something Zune would have composed. I had so much fun with this game that I showed my friend it, and he's a huge fan of Dark Souls, but not that big into Toho. But he seemed to have just as much fun as I did. I'm on the opposite end. I'm a huge fan of Toho, but I don't know anything about Dark Souls. And yet, I still found myself having a ton of fun. This game is a must-play for sure. Into the Forest of Magic. This one's interesting. It's a combination of Danmaku and platforming, in some really smart ways. You're dodging bullets while also making your way through the level. The problem? It's a pretty hard game. You only get 4 hit points, and dying sends you all the way back to the start of the level. Even when you reach the boss, it would have been nice to have balanced the difficulty out, maybe add some checkpoints, but this project shows decent potential. I would judge the LGBT-ness, but I'm not good enough to get that far. Twilight Dance of Delicate Flowers. A roguelike based around dodging bullets to a rhythm. It's an interesting challenge for sure, and the writing based around it is pretty cute, but I'm kinda hot garbage at it. Yes, the game seems to have some RNG in it, but in this case I think it's just more of my inability as a player. And that's no real reason to fault the game. I think it's fine quality, and there's good fun to be had. Alice's Gay Baking Adventure. Nice title. This one's a bit strange. Alice is on her quest to gather ingredients to bake Marisa a cake, and let's take a look. On one hand, the aesthetics are really good. The music is well remixed. I didn't know Grimoire of Alice could be made into soothing background music, but the composer did it. Fantastic job. The game's graphics also resemble an old PS1 game, which is cool. The actual gameplay itself also resembles an old PS1 game. The camera is inverted, which would normally be okay, except it's not just up and down. It's also inverted left to right. Attacking enemies feels awkward, so you'll just try to avoid combat in general. And the writing is also a bit memey. It serves the purpose well enough, but if we're a bit more serious, then I think the emotional impact the game was trying to do would have landed a lot more. But, like I said, the aesthetics are enough to play this one. Doujins and Dragons. This game gets bonus points for having the best title. And the game itself? Oh man, it was a good one. It uses Ren'Py, which is normally used for visual novels, and it also has a tabletop battle system. That's so cool. In addition, the writing's also really good. Reimu and Marisa try to go over relationship issues through a tabletop board game. Breaks the fourth wall a lot, but in an engaging way that fits the context of the game. Of course, the graphics and music are really good. One of the best entries into this jam. Change plan. Chen falls down a well and is chased by water and tormented by a homophobic kappa. Yeah, it's a pretty funny concept, and you have to try to climb to the top to reach Ron. Music's a bit annoying though, but gameplay is pretty fun. This feels like a situation where physics are built a bit stiff on purpose, so that the gameplay instead is based more around precision. It was pretty fun to reach the top, but it didn't really hold my attention for that long. Immunity of Sensibility. Another Sailing Club game, and a cool one at that. Maribel's the protagonist of this game, and it's a JRPG. As someone who's put 60 hours into Octopath Traveler, I consider myself a fan of the genre. This one does have some unique concepts. The special attacks are Denmaku, and you restore SP each turn with a basic special attack. It's a neat way to do a battle system. As is, though, the battles are a bit generic. Imagine later down the line there would be more instances where Denmaku can shine through rather than just spamming attacks. But, ooh, the presentation. This title screen? It's pixel art. That's pretty good. Every single character in here is also extremely well written, and the relationship between Maribel and Renko feels really natural. I feel like Renko especially gets some really nice writing that makes her a very likable character. The music also fits very nicely. Various themes from the music CD show up, and the different dreams seem to be based off of different games. The tutorial section has remixes from Imperishable Night, and to where I played, there was a nice remix of Yomu's theme, so I'm assuming the rest would have had remixes of Toho 7. The game soft-locked on me, but the creator was able to patch out a fix. Or I guess not patch out, but more give me a workaround to how to get unsoft-locked, so I'm gonna go further later. This is another one that I recommend checking out. It is very good and impressive for 2 weeks. Hikari and Kasen's Faithful Reunion. This one's a bullet hell. I know a bit about Kasen, but not too much, so the writing left me a bit confused. That's not really a fault of the game though, it just means if you want to get the full enjoyment, you need to know a bit of Toho lore. The music was well composed, but I felt like it didn't really fit into the game's context. You have these very chill tracks with all of these bullets flying on screen. Graphics were really nice though. The gameplay itself, pretty good actually. Even in normal mode, the stages thoroughly wrecked me. But that's okay, because the game's engine has an infinite live system. Where it really shines for me are the spell cards. Hikari's cards are all unique and nice to look at, which gives the game a sense of identity. If you're a fan of traditional Toho, try this one out. Speed Date Mansion, Hell's Kitchen. This one was hard. It's essentially Diner Dash, except Toho themed. I feel like it's meant to be played in co-op though, because single player is frantic as hell. Too bad that's all I can really try. Still had a fun time though. There's not much else I can really say though. Beneath the Willows. Holy shit. This should be impossible. A 30-minute long visual novel with strong messages about transgender struggles, beautiful art, like 7 different songs, and outstanding writing. It's so well written that you can know literally nothing about Toho and still get the full emotional impact. The end of the game even lets you ask questions about being transgender. It's not only a great story, but one that has the potential to change lives. I could say more and ramble on, but this is something that you need to experience for yourself. This is an absolute must-play. Hiyasama and Fujiwara grill yakitori. Another bullet hell, and a good one at that. Boku and Kaguya I know a bit more about, and the way they're written here is both adorable and hilarious. The music is made jovial, kind of like the last one, but here, the dialogue is also a lot more carefree, so it fits the setting that Amaku's meant to be playful. It's also very well designed gameplay-wise, stages and bosses both. I'd bang on it for being hard, but I think I kinda just suck on Damaku. This is a very strong game to come out for this jam. Satori's Mind Games. Wait a second, this is my game. I can't really review it myself, so I'll just explain what I was doing. I didn't have any idea of what to make until like 18 hours before the game was due. Now, I'm not gonna say I was stupid enough to make a game in 18 hours, but I was stupid enough to make a game in 18 hours. I love Satori. She's one of my favorite characters. What I love even more is the dynamic that she has with Reimu. Everyone shuns Satori because of her mind-reading powers, but it would make perfect sense that Reimu wouldn't care. Her honesty and integrity are why so many powerful yokai like Suika and Remilia adore her, and Satori would be no different. The difference is that Satori is very tormented, so having that happiness of Reimu in her life is really important. I aim to capture that relationship in my game. Please check it out if this relationship sounds interesting to you. Oh, and also huge thanks to Peacock Ray for making me a background track for the game in such short notice. Sekibunky Defender Love. This looks like a child's sketch, but in a good way. It's actually pretty charming. That's a nice way to describe this game. Charming. Sekibunky defends her 2 friends on a date, and does so by splitting her body and head. Her head can't be too far away from her body though, and her head can be the only one used to take on enemies. It's a really cool game mechanic, executed well. The problem is, there's no scoring system. It's pretty clear the developer was under time crunch. I mean, we only had 2 weeks. But a scoring system would have been a nice way to encourage replayability. Still, a very interesting and innovative mechanic, and I would like to see it expanded on in the future. Formidable Apache, a dating visual novel. Man, I wish I didn't suck at these. It's still a fun time though. There's really nice art, piano renditions of Toho songs, and dialogue is also really well written. Again, I think this game is a solid experience. I just can't beat it. But don't let my lack of skill stop you from playing what is obviously a very well-made game. Howe ga Gotoku, like a phoenix. Oh man, this one's good. It's another visual novel where you play as Moku, and in this one, you're mostly talking to Raisin in a bar, The game's intro displays Moku's backstory with cute illustrations, and it's even voiced.
Once upon a time, in a land far east, there lived a girl.
It gives a good idea of where her personality comes from. Then she talks to Raisin about literally everything. And that's part of the beauty. Raisin is such a grounded character compared to the rest of the Toho cast that she always has an answer to everything. And when the time comes to discuss love, she knows exactly what to say. A very enjoyable entry that emphasizes the strengths of both Raisin's and Moku's character. In Between Gensokyo. One word. Relaxing. It was so soothing to play this game at my desk, it almost felt like I was taking a nap. You get all the time in the world to make your own garden and make bouquets for gay lovers. The writing's sweet, though there are quite a few typos, and the game looks really nice. But what stuck out to me was the music. Toho has so many songs, and it's usually the bombastic boss themes that get remixed. In this game, we instead get to hear pleasant remixes of the more serene tracks in Toho. I think that was the #1 reason I kept playing until the very end. Kakashi Love Report. This was an interesting one. Sumireko and Hatate are paired together in what is essentially a novel with an instant glossary. And it works really well. Sumireko is a teenager who pushes herself away from the social norm, while Hatate likes to blend in, which is why she struggles as a reporter. Throw in a discussion between Kaguya and Raisin, and you get an enjoyable story. Toho. Ecstatic and Expressive Allies. This is literally just a Toho game. No, I mean seriously. Look. It's impressive how much it matches. Gameplay's good, colors are nice, even the music sounds like something Zune would have composed. On top of that, you play as gay pairings together. Now that's pretty cool. Phantasy Taker. I've never played Helltaker, so this should be from a unique perspective. Well, I went to the task manager, and it's labeled as Deltarune Chapter 2. Off to a great start. We're not playing Helltaker? Yeah, this is pretty fun. It's just pushing blocks around and creating harems. Although the dialogue sections confused me a bit, I had to get outside help to figure out I could even choose which option I wanted. The writing was still pretty funny though, albeit a bit memey. I couldn't beat the boss either, but yeah, fun game. Neo Gensokyo 0. This one has been getting a lot of buzz, so I'm both playing and reviewing it last. The devs posted a ton of screenshots throughout the jam, and it always looked really interesting. So... Ah! It's so good! The gameplay is a hack and slash with 2 buttons, attacking and dodge dashing. If you dodge dash, you slow down time, so you can rack up a ton of crazy combos into well-designed levels with a ton of enemies. The music and graphics are fantastic, the writing is solid, and LGBT themes play a major role in the narrative. This is another must-play. And that's it. That's all 28 games. It's impressive that all of these were able to be made in 2 weeks. To end things off, I'm going to be going over my top 10 games of this jam. 10. Kachina. Puzzle games are fun and the aesthetics were nice. 9. Phantasy Taker. Is a creative parody and the writing was pretty witty. 8. Doujins and Dragons. The battle system was very impressive. It's paired with a nice story. 7. Love Colored Letters. All around a very well-rounded game. Nice presentation and fun gameplay. Number 6. Gago Toku, Like a Phoenix. This one had really strong writing, and I just like racing, so that's why it's higher. Sue me. Number 5, In Between Gensokyo. This one was very relaxing and a nice experience to have. I love the music. Number 4, Unity of Sensibility. The writing of the characters in this one was super strong, and the RPG gameplay was solid enough for me to enjoy it than a lot of other entries. Number 3, Neogan Sokyo 0. This is by far the best design game, and yeah, I could probably see myself going back and playing the game over and over again, maybe trying to grind through the higher difficulties. And 2-1, I have a tie. Beneath the Willows, Dreams of a Sunflower. Beneath the Willows is obviously the most influential game here. This is the one that can have the most impact on a person. The thing is though, it's mainly a story. It's not much of a game. But because of its impact, I can't really put it lower than 1. That's why I chose to tie it with Dreams of a Sunflower. This one might not be as tightly designed as Neogan Sokyo 0, but I think I just enjoyed this one a bit more. The writing feels a bit more personal, it's a more laid-back game, and the Dark Souls elements were nice, and we're able to cross over to, again, my other non-Toho friend, though I'm guessing he would enjoy Neogan Sokyo 0 as well. So yeah, overall, that was a very fun selection of games, and I hope I can participate in more of these jams in the future. If you want to try any of these out, I put a link in the description below to the actual jam page itself. So yeah, play the games, rank them, have a ton of fun. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, might I recommend my video on Touhou 6? It's about how Touhou 6 was able to change some things in the PC98 era, and Toho was able to grow as a result of it. Say, what does